Hi friends, I'm excited to continue reading our story today, so let's go ahead and jump in. So we remember that the last couple of units in Read Aloud, we were learning about conflict. We know that there is internal conflict and external conflict. An internal conflict is a problem in the character's heart or mind. And then external conflict is a conflict that's caused by an event or another character. So now in Read Aloud, we are focusing on lesson. So a lesson is something that we can learn from the text that will make us better people. It's something we can learn from the text that will make us exactly. So when we're figuring out the lesson the author is trying to teach us, we have to ask ourselves a few questions. We ask, what is the internal conflict? How does the character attempt to resolve the internal conflict? How does the character finally solve the internal conflict? What lesson does the main character learn from resolving the internal conflict? And what can we all learn that will make us better people? And it's really important that we try to figure out the lesson that the author is trying to teach us because we can use these lessons in our own lives and we can use books to help make us better people. So last time we were reading Crow Boy. We met a little boy named Chibi in Japan, and he went to school, but it says he was really afraid of the teacher and his classmates, and he didn't learn anything. And he was trying to distract himself from being so alone. And so now let's jump back in where we left off. But slowpokes or not, day after day, Chibi came trudging back to school. He always carried the same lunch, a rice ball wrapped in a radish leaf. Even when it rained or stormed, he still came trudging along, wrapped in a raincoat made from dried zebra grass. And so, day by day, 5 years went by, and we were in the sixth grade, the last class in school. Our new teacher was Mr. Asobi. He was a friendly man with a kind smile. Mr. Asobi often took his class to the hilltop behind the school. He was pleased to learn that Chibi knew all the places where the wild grapes and wild potatoes grew. He was amazed to find how much Chibi knew about all the flowers in our class garden. He liked Chibi's black and white drawings and tacked them up on the wall to be admired. He liked Chibi's own handwriting, which no one but Chibi could read, and he tacked it up on the wall. And he often spent time talking with Chibi when no one was around. But when Chibi appeared on the stage at the talent show of that year, no one could believe his eyes. Who's that? What can that stupid do up there? Until Mr. Asobi announced that Chibi was going to imitate the voices of crows. Voices? Voices of crows? Voices of crows? Voices of crow. First, he imitated the voices of newly hatched crows, and he made the mother crow's voice. Then he imitated the father crow's voice. He showed how crows cry early in the morning. He showed how crows cry when the village people have some unhappy accident. He showed how crows call when they are happy and gay. Everybody's mind was taken to the far mountainside from which Chibi probably came to the school. At the end, to imitate a crow on an old tree, Chibi made a very special sound deep in his throat. Now everybody could imagine exactly the far and lonely place where Chibi lived with his family. Then Mr. Asobi explained how Chibi had learned those calls, leaving his home for school at dawn and arriving at sunset every day for 6 long years. Every one of us cried, thinking how much we had been wrong to Chibi all those long years. So think about how Chibi's internal conflict was resolved. Remember, internal conflict is a problem in the character's heart and mind. Chibi's internal conflict is resolved because his classmates realize he's special, and so he doesn't feel lonely anymore. In the text, it said, "Every one of us cried, thinking how much we had been wrong to Chibi all those long years." When Chibi does his crow calls at the talent show, everyone is so impressed and they realize how hard Chibi worked to come to school every day. They also felt guilty about how they treated Chibi all those years, and now they accept him. This resolves Chibi's internal conflict because now he feels special and not so left out or alone. Even grown-ups wiped their eyes, saying, "Yes, yes, he is wonderful." Chibi was the only one in our class honored for perfect attendance through all the 6 years. After school was over, the big boys would often have work to do in the village for their families. Sometimes Chibi came to the village to sell the charcoal he and his family made. But nobody called him Chibi anymore. We all called him Crow Boy. "Hi, Crow Boy." Crow Boy would nod and smile as if he liked the name. And when his work was done, he would buy a few things for his family. Then he would set off for his home on the far side of the mountains, stretching his growing shoulders proudly like a grown up man. And from around the turn of the mountain road would come a crow call, the happy one. So here is something for us to think about. Sometimes the main character learns the big lesson in the story, but other times the main character helps other characters in the story to learn a lesson. In this story, Chibi learns to be himself and show his talents. But really, Chibi's classmates are the ones who learn the most important lesson. I want you guys to think about that question and enter your answer in the Google form below. What lesson do Chibi's classmates learn? I really enjoyed reading this story with you, and I will see you next time.